They will tell you that.
That's all.
Then it comes to the functional requirements and the UX team as to how the screen flow will flow.
Right.
That's in functional requirements.
Okay.
So a user has inserted an order now. After this, when he's inserted the order, these buttons should become disabled. That's not business to decide.
Okay.
Business will tell order once accepted should be either updated or deleted. That's it.
Right, I understand that. But once I have the screen, it's easy for me to write the test cases. Right?
I agree.
Right. But most of the time it doesn't happen that way.
I agree on that as well.
Right? It doesn't happen. So now the BRD is just telling me. So as a tester, okay, I'm going for a QA analyst. As a QA analyst or as a tester, whatever. What document I'll be getting is only the BRD.
What you'll be getting?
I will be getting use cases. I'll be getting use cases. No, I'm just answering the question. Okay.
It depends on your project team. You, as an analyst, will actually work with the FRD, functional requirement document, or the FRS, or the functional requirement specification, and the design document. These will be two documents that you will base your test cases on.
Right. But they are not going to.
Use cases will also provide that information, but the FRS is what will actually drive everything. The FRS will have use cases in it. The functional requirement specification will have several use cases, which will be a part of that document. That's it.
Okay, so from that use cases, I have to write these test cases. Okay, this is delete or
use case, then you define your test scenario.
Use case, okay, test scenario. Oh, okay.
From your scenario, you get your test case. In the test case, you will define your test steps, which will have test data. That's the hierarchy.
So before use case is going to be FRS.
Yes. And before FRS is your BRD.
Okay, because see, I am.
And before BRD is the concept. That's the business concept, where they define, I need a system which will handle web user coming and making a booking. That's the 50,000 feet level where you start. Business says, we need an application to automate our web booking. What is the web booking going to be? On what technology? What platform? All that will drill down lower. Yes, what can I do for you? Yes, go ahead.
Who provides the test data?
Good question. Who provides the test data for testing?
Yeah.
You.
Business analyst will work with development to get you the test data that is required. In some cases, you'll have to create your own test data.
Okay.
The pre-existing data in the system that you can use will be provided to you through business analysts who will work with the development team, where the business analyst will say, I need these data conditions to be validated, so please provision data for this. And then the development team will identify that data, because the development team will have a database developer who will go into the database and look at data that meets the conditions that you want to test.
Okay. And
Very
is
good
it based
question.
on test scenarios?
The test data is dependent on your test steps that you need to validate. The steps will be a part of test case. The test cases will be a part of test scenario. Now your test scenario is user authentication or security. Right? My scenario is valid users should have access to the system. That's the scenario. What test cases do you want to validate for that? Valid user ID, a valid password, a valid action on the available button will provide access to the user. Right? That's the test case. What will be my test steps? User will open the application. After the user has opened the application, the default state of the application should be validated so that you know all fields that you need for validation are there. Then you validate the default values of each of the fields. Then your next test step will be populate user ID, populate password, click the right button. These are your steps. And then there will be a result. After the user clicks the submit button, the application will deliver a error message, D, in access to the system. And that can be tested for multiple user IDs. Right? Make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how the hierarchy. That's how the hierarchy is. So now I can delete this order. The order is gone. So my action was create an order, delete the order, and the application should revert back to the state. Right? So now what we're going to do now is, I think we have a good understanding of software development lifecycle. We have good understanding of QA lifecycle. We understand QA methodology, what we need to do. Because we've gone through that big chart where we look at the QA project plan. We also know a test plan, what we do in a test plan. In that test plan, we have what, when, where, how, and who all defined. Right? There are some standards that have been defined in the industry, which is also referred to IEEE standards. So, International Association of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, which is based in Piscataway, New Jersey, has defined some standards like CMM, like ISO. IEEE has defined some testing standards. 827.1, I think, is the standard for a template for test plan. Let me walk you through that template for test plan here. It's available in your training DVDs. I don't have it here. Good. Yeah, I thought I had it here as well. Sorry? Oh yes.
I have kept it open. That's why.
Sorry, it's not 829, 827, it is 829 format. Majority of the organizations tend to follow this as a guideline to work with. It's not that this is a gold standard. You can tailor it, alter it as per your needs. So you have a test plan identifier, you have references which will tell you what is this test plan all about. Then there is an introduction which says that this is a high level of the system that we are testing. This is what is our approach to test it. Then comes what are the test items to be tested in this test plan. Then you will have the risks that you need to highlight. Test plan identifier, the references based on which you have created your test plan, introduction of the system, then the items that need to be tested, what are the risks that you have. For example, you are trying to integrate with a third-party payment provider and the payment provider is not ready when you are ready to test it. What will be the impact? That's what is defined here. Third-party product delivery impact. Right? The new version of the interfacing software. So you have a backend and you have a new version of the front end. And those don't play well. You have a problem. So that's a risk. Ability to use and understand the new package or tool. The UAT, the user acceptance team or the testing team was not provided reasonable information about the changes. It also is an impact, right? Similarly, there are extremely complex functions that will impact the testing. So these are some disclaimers or software risks that are highlighted. You will highlight the features that you will test in this test plan, but you will also highlight the features that you will not test. What is not covered in my testing? Of course, you will have to highlight that because tomorrow you will be held responsible for that. Why did you not test it? You never said that you are not testing it. That's why. What is to be tested? What is not to be tested? What is your approach? Your approach will define everything that you're doing. I will have these many resources on the application which becomes available on this date. We will start our testing, we will expect stable environment, and we will collect this matrix and share it with the team. We will do 3 cycles of testing and declare victory or failure. All that will be here in the approach. Then, what do we consider an item passed or failed? Right? This is the expectations that are being set with my expected results in my test cases. Then, when will we suspend testing? My testing cycle is of 4 days, but the application code that is delivered is not stable till the 2nd day. It happens. So if it happens, what will be my correction? What will be my course of action? We'll define it here. What will be my test deliverables? What do you expect as an output from my testing effort? You are looking at test report, you're looking at test defect matrix, you're looking at recommendations, suggestions, all that will be here. Then, what are the remaining test tasks that need to be done after the plan completes? What are the environmental needs? What are my staffing needs? What are my responsibilities? And what is the testing schedule? Last but not the least, I think, is planning for risks and contingencies. 3 team members started and one of them disappeared because he got a better project at a better rate. He's moved on. What do we do now? These are the conditions that you need to meet. And then comes the approvals. Who's approving the test plan? Right? So this is what is an important aspect that we need to understand for a plan. And now I think we are almost ready to get into quality center. But before we go there, we take a short break.